Episode 9 of Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith, powered by our friends at Cybertech, is on deck. Welcome in. It is Tuesday, January 2nd here in 2024. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined by my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison. Happy New Year to you and yours. Roquan, as you probably have gathered, yes, it was another good one. It was another good one. If you've been following this series is really what it's become over the course of this season. He has just been such a joy to work with. Sarah, we have one more episode with him. He has politely requested, by the way, to just kind of handle his business during the postseason. So we'll do our 10th and final episode with him after Steelers week, and then he's going to be locked in. What does LeBron James say when the playoffs come? 0 dark 30 activated. That's pretty much what he's requested. Of course, we're going to honor that request. And who knows, if they make a run, maybe there will be more opportunities to do so en route to Vegas. But I don't know. I've been really overcome with gratitude and joy, as we've talked about in these last couple of days. It's been such a fun ride. And this was another great episode with Zero.
Excellent episode. And yes, we'll get him after Steelers, but something tells me we're going to talk to him about that Walter Payton Man of the Year. And, we'll see it's not going to be the last ever, maybe the last of the season. So, another great episode. I mean, just to kind of tee it off, we talked to him about what it feels like to be the number one seed, what it feels like to take care of both the 49ers and Miami back-to-back weeks. He shared with us what he said to Lamar Jackson when they were caught on CBS cameras talking to each other at the end of the game. That was really cool. We found out he was the one screaming "War Daddy," which I didn't even know. So he let us know what that meant. Just a ton of content.
The War Daddy thing cracked me up because it kind of sounded like him, but I wasn't sure. And so to hear what that meant in his mind was pretty funny. And then
it makes sense now.
And then I had a chance to call him a War Daddy as well, which I thought was kind of funny. This was a good one. I mean, it had a little bit of everything, including why he actually missed the beginning of post-game celebrations in the locker room. And it's just such a testament to what he's about. So all that and more is coming up in episode 9 of Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith, powered by our friends at Cybertech, who's a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. A new way to acquire resources is what they're all about. So whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and you don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you think you or your company might be a good fit, you'll have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started today by scanning the QR code that we have placed in the upper right-hand corner. Or if you're on the audio-only space side of things, send an email to the address that we have included in the show notes below. And again, a huge, huge thank you to Cybertech, because this wouldn't be possible, our season-long partnership with Ro, without their support. So without further ado, here he comes, the leader and really the co-face of this franchise, like you said, alongside Lamar Jackson, who wrapped up the number one seed, who wrapped up the division, who wrapped up the bye week. We'll see if he plays for the Steelers. We asked, not for the Steelers. He's not playing for the Steelers, that's for sure. Against the Steelers coming up in Sunday's regular season finale. We asked him point blank, partner. We've got all that and more coming up in this edition with Roquan. Ro, congratulations. You guys lock up the division. You lock up the number one seed in the AFC. And I couldn't help but notice, and we were talking before we came on, Sarah and I both kind of noticed this, that when you got up at your post-game press conference on Sunday after the Dolphins win, and they were asking about the celebration and it's just the havoc that was being wreaked in the locker room, you were actually late to that because you decided to kind of pop around the stadium, say hello to fans, sign autographs, and that's just such a testament to what you're about, man. What led to that decision? And did you at least get to the locker room for some of the festivities after that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I did get to the locker room for part of it, but pretty much later in the game, I normally do it after every game, go out, especially home games when we win, give fans the gloves or just dapping people up, taking selfies and things of that nature. So PQ was in on it as well, and he was just like, hey, bro, we should just go down to it was another part of the field that I don't really go to, the further end zone, and he was like, we should go down there with the fans and chat with them a little bit. So I was like, all right, cool. So I did it, and then I look up, and PQ was gone, and so I just said, hey, I'm just finishing out, and I just kept doing it. The next thing I know, security's coming to get me. It was like, hey, we know what you do, but yeah, this is they're bringing it up right now. So when I got back inside, like I missed the Harps dancing, but I did see it on video, and then I was there for like the game balls and all those type things. Like it was the game balls, and then like just talking about the game and everything like that when he brought us up. So it was still pretty sweet. I wish I would have got the chance to see Harps dancing though. I seen it on video and it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, we got your back. Let's remind you, since you missed it, of what that looked like and how Harbs ended up with blood on his forehead.
Go out there. Come back here. Go across there. Come back here. Play there. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm bleeding. I'm so proud of you. Put it on the forehead right there. Yeah! That's who it is. That's you, man.
I think Harbs is like 62. He got down pretty low. What's this War Daddy stuff? Where did that come from?
Oh, did you hear me in the background?
Was that you?
That was you?
Yeah, that was me.
I didn't know that was you. I was like, who said that?
Yeah, no, that was me. I picked up on that. It's been years ago. It was just like a mindset, honestly. Like I actually posted it on Instagram a little while ago as well. Like just a mindset of being like, you at war, and then you're just like being a daddy in a sense, like you're a war daddy, like you run stuff, so things go the way you want things to go in a sense. So, and it's just like a mindset that I have to where it's like, hey, I'm at war and I'm gonna be the daddy of this war in a sense,
That is hilarious because we both picked up on that. Who is screaming war daddy at John Harbaugh? But the guy he was in a zone right there, as were you pregame, of course. Here you are, just getting after it as always. But Ro, I mean, that locker room moment, I think a lot of us were definitely taken aback by some of Odell Beckham Jr.'s words, your teammate who is a Super Bowl champion, right? He had this to say about this year's team.
But nah, fellas, this is a good-ass feeling, man. This is probably the best team. This is the best team I've ever been on from the top to the bottom. We set ourselves up for success. You know what I mean? It's got to come through the bank in these black and purple unis. Go through this defense. This offense is crazy, man. Everything is right in front of us, so let's go ahead. Keep preparing. Y'all enjoy this moment. You know what I mean? It don't come by every now and then. So just enjoy this moment. Enjoy the night. Happy New Year, all that.
All right, so again, a Super Bowl champion saying that it's the best team that he's ever been a part of, top to down, certainly speaks volumes. And then look who's standing right next to him, looking like a war daddy himself, matter of fact, mind you. All right, first of all, how many times a week you doing traps in the offseason? And second of all, your thoughts on a big-time statement from a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, no, that was big time on him for sure. Just coming from him, guy that's been on the big stage, won it as well, and just knowing, what it takes and how the teams are built in a sense, and just hearing that. But we know that too amongst ourselves, of like how legit we are, and it's about like going in and week out. And I tell the guys all the time, just look in yourself in the mirror and say you're gonna do everything in your power and play to the max of your abilities. And if you do that, then no one will be able to touch us. But that's just what we have to remind ourselves day in and day out with the complacency. And upper body, man, I probably hit traps like once or twice a week. I got to get them really right this offseason. So maybe they're going to grow a little bit more this offseason. So be on the lookout next year.
Built like a truck. I would go running if I had to come meet you in the middle. I'm crying going home. There's no way. That is just built like a truck. So Ro, this is what I wish that we could be on with you post game, because I'm so fired up. I know you're fired up. Ro, you have gone from beating the 49ers, who used to, not anymore, used to be tied with you, in wins and losses. You guys took care of business there. Then, and they had 2 MVP, by the way, candidates over there. Then you get 2 other MVP candidates in Miami. Look what you got Tyreek Hill saying. I played one of the worst games of my career, and how could he not with 0 coming down? I know I'm fired up. We didn't get to talk to you after 49ers. Just how fired up, how good does it feel to beat 2 teams that are top of their divisions, near the top of the conferences, and just take care of business?
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's just credit to the guys in this locker room and the guys, how we go about work each and every day and how we go about each other and putting it all on the line for each other. And hey, I guess, that's just a result of playing the Ravens in a sense. And obviously he's one of the best receivers in the league and some consider top 3, probably number 1 as well. So definitely got a lot of respect for the guy and everything and the way he played the game. But I just think it just goes back to the way we play defense here. And, there's things not going to go your way all the time. And there's definitely going to be some consequences to certain actions. But, hats off to Miami and San Fran as well, like 2 really good teams. But hey, we're Baltimore and we're going to be here. So, we're getting ready. We just getting the engine going and making sure all the parts are running. So when it's time to go, we rolling.
Let's get to the way you specifically played defense on Sunday, because you had a little bit of a highlight reel there you can add to your career resume, Ro. The one-handed pick was something. I think Sarah and I talking about it, though. Our favorite part was what you did after. You wanted to get into the end zone. You could tell you were looking like a kid in the candy store, stiff arming guys, putting on some lateral quickness. That was hysterical. But we were hoping that you could kind of take us through this, because Ryan Mink from BaltimoreRavens.com pointed out on Twitter that on Miami's first drive, Tua squeezed a pass into Tyreek past you, and then in the second quarter they ran the same route and the same concept, and you read it all the way. So take us through what you saw that first time. And then obviously,
you would hear, okay, this dude's going to throw the ball in these tight windows. So like when I first seen it, I was like, I couldn't believe he was actually throwing it the way he was throwing it. And I'm like, and it was an amazing zip on the ball. And I seen it the first time. Then I got to the sideline. I told Marlo, I said, Marlo, I let you down, bro. That's my fault. That's not your fault on that pass. I should have got to that hook and I should have been there to break that up. Worst case. And then he was like, no, don't worry about it, bro. But I said, if I see it by number 1, because they have been doing that a lot. So I just kept running. I just said, all right, I see it. And he never saw me from the backside. And I just said, hey, I'm going to sit. I wish I could have.
Wait, was there a skirmish after that, though, on the sideline? Did something happen after the whistle?
Well, I just think a couple of Miami guys were still over there. I guess I don't know how they was feeling about it, but I couldn't really see because all my brother was all around me. So, tapping me across my helmet, everything like that, and just hit me on the shoulder pads. And then Zo, the linebacker coach, how loud he was and how intense he was after that play. It was just like, man, it was pretty sweet, and I enjoyed that feeling for sure.
Oh, we saw that. Zach Gore, we know his career got cut short. That was so heartbreaking. But it's like what you say, when there's adversity, you keep going. And now he's this coach. He was in your face on the sideline after that. I loved it. And then you got right back, just building each other up. But I want to know, are you on the jugs machine here with the one-hander there? What's going on? Like, you have hands.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, though, because I always have this saying at practice when people drop balls, is beat them up ball. And funny story, I dropped. So this is the thing. It was a walkthrough on Friday, and my excuse for myself was that I had cocoa butter on my hand. So I'm going outside, I want my skin nice and, nice and moist and stuff. So I used cocoa butter, and I didn't have on gloves on Friday walkthrough. And it was actually what's so funny is that it was the same route that I ended up picking up, but I dropped it. I dropped it in practice, and then I used the excuse, I have cocoa butter on my hands, and then everybody was saying my thing that I say, like, beat them up ball, and I was like, yeah, the ball beat me up on that. So it was more of that, and then in the game time, I was like, yeah, I do play with gloves, though. And then in the game time, it was just like I seen it, and then when I stuck that arm out, how it hit the hand, I was like, yeah, I got this.
Little redemption. I love it. Well, another thing that kind of went viral is CBS cameras caught you after the game dapping it up with Lamar. Bobby actually tweeted it, and I mean, it went.
How could you not? Look at these two. I mean, these guys are so laser focused.
The two faces of the franchise. We're just wondering, do you even what did you say to him? Is there anything you can share during that conversation? Because fans just loved eating up. It's so rare that we get to see you guys together since one's offense and one's defense. So what were you saying to him in this moment?
Yeah, I was just like, more so in a nutshell, we were saying to each other, but what I was saying to him was that, hey, we took care of business today, but bro, we just getting started. And I know how you locked in on the year. We know what we in this for. We going for the big one. We want to know each and every week. I said, you make sure the O rolling, and I know you're gonna do that. And I'm gonna make sure these boys on D. We flying to the ball. We doing everything we can. We're gonna keep getting you that rock, and we're gonna make sure we do everything we can to get us where we need to be. And I said, everything's gonna go through us. So just make sure we holding each other accountable day in and day out. And that was like mainly the gist of the conversation.
Yeah. Ro, the whole bigger fish to fry mantra is sort of something that's stood out about the way Lamar's handled his press conferences this year. I think the same can be said for you. First of all, your MVP case that you made for him within the last couple of weeks is aging like fine wine, right? He's the runaway, the bound for 2.0. Perhaps it's even unanimous. Who knows? But can you just speak to the dynamic that he's almost requiring of this locker room, of this organization right now? Because there's the Mamba mentality, and then there's what he's been about. It's just, there's no BS. There's no room for it's the same thing every week for him. He just seems like he is so steady, so consistent, so laser focused, and it seems as if it's becoming infectious internally for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd give the utmost respect to the guy and just the way he go out and handle it, like perfect passer rating, and don't crack a smile. Just like, hey, that's what I expect of myself. That's what I expect of us as a team. And like, when we knowing how good we are and the talent that we have around us, you don't really get these many teams like in the leagues year in and year out. And so he understands that and know, like, hey, like it's no time for like lapsing, like doing anything. We got to do whatever it takes. And knowing him when he's leading the charge on offense, he got to do whatever it takes to keep putting us in the best possible situation. And if he does that, the sky's the limit for us, and we'll write our story the way we want to write our story. And that's like his mindset and the way he's thinking and how locked in he is. So I'm excited that I say it all the time that he's on my team, and I'm going to war with him and not going to war against him.
So another one of your teammates was fired up after the game, Ro. I don't know if you saw this tweet from Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, this was, Sarah, just so you know, this was after the 49ers game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. December 26th.
It's just as good,
right.
But
it's just as good. Well, we haven't talked to you in a couple weeks, but says, I can't believe the Bears didn't want Ro. This bleep is crazy to me. Them analytics go crazy, right? Well, if we get two players for the price of one, FOH, right? Buddy, a dog, and a leader. Analytics don't ever measure that. Sorry, lack of sleep this morning. So when you read that, like, what was going through your mind? Kyle Van Noy putting that out there.
Yeah, so I don't have Twitter, so this is my first time seeing it right now. But like that's actually pretty funny. But yeah, KV's a amazing asset to the team, and got a great deal of respect for KV, how he come to work day in and day out, like how he try to challenge each and every person, himself included, and just the way he worked and the way he studied his opponents, man, is like second to none. So it's definitely pretty sweet. But yeah, everybody, we all have to make decisions and choices in life. And, that was a choice that the Bears made. And, that was a choice that the Ravens made in getting me. So I'm grateful to be here in Baltimore and, chance at competing for the big one, and just knowing how talented this team and also just around so many amazing people, as well as you guys. Probably would have never got to meet you guys as well, like if I wasn't here in a sense. So it's just a pretty sweet story for me. And life is a book, and everyone has their story that they're writing, and that was just a chapter for me, and now this is like a new chapter in my life and in my book. So that's how I look at it, and I'm just grateful to be surrounded by such amazing people and amazing players. So it is what it is at the end of the day, and it ain't what it ain't.
No doubt. And hey, I speak for Sarah and our entire audience that the feeling's mutual there. I mean, we've been honored to spend some time with you during what's become a magical ride. It really has been. And we didn't even have this on our pregame script, but it's just kind of coming to me now. a lot of what you've experienced over these last 48 hours is probably something that you haven't experienced since college, right? Just the whirlwind of emotions and being that, yeah, you guys do have something special that is at the fingertips right now. How have you handled that emotionally over the last couple of days?
Honestly, man, just being in the moment and like just thinking, hey, this is the opportunity that we have right now. Let's not make it any bigger than what it is, and live in the moment and play the cards that you're dealt. And if we feel as we do that, everything we want is right there for us. So I'm just more so in the moment, enjoying it, not getting any high horse, because I know just as well as you can go up, you can come right back down. And guys, we're very aware of that and a very mature team. So I'm just grateful to be on a really good, mature team and guys that actually have the right mindset and willing to do whatever it takes to defend everything that we want as well as each other.
Hey, Ro, when I watch the games on Sundays, I always watch it with my husband and 4 kids. And my son, he's a little younger, he's not as steady as you, starts freaking out when the Dolphins, scored on that first drive. And then they got some moving the ball on the second drive. And he's like, what is going on? What is going on? And I'm like, son, don't worry. They're going to adjust. They're going to adjust. Mike McDonald has like a magic touch. Okay. I won't go through everything, but when Miami got off to a hot start, he totally adjusted. He didn't use any 5+ rushes in the second half, didn't blitz any from off the ball, didn't call any stunts. This is according to Ken McCusick, a film study that does Ravens. And in the second half, Miami got 43 yards, so 3.1 yards per play. So my question to you is, one, how does Mike McDonald he just always seems to touch the right buttons at the right time? And number two, and I know you don't want to see him leave, but his name is going around in circles as potentially being a head coach candidate. So what is it that Mike just always does right, figuring things out? And number two, how would you feel? And do you think he deserves to be a head coach?
First and foremost, I would say for sure, with Mike, I would say first it's a credit to like the way he busts his tail during the week, like the way he studied his opponent, our opponent, inside and out, knowing what each and every opponent likes to do in certain situations. Because at the end of the day, humans are creatures of habits, and that's is in tendencies as well. So things are gonna show up, and I think with him knowing that, and credit to Miami coming out there with plays, and hats off to those guys. They get paid as well. They have coaches and jobs as well, and I think knowing how they was trying to attack us, and then actually taking a step back and say, okay, I see they're doing this, they see they're doing that, and then adjusting on the fly. So man, I have a great deal of respect for Mike and how brilliant his mind is day in and day out, and how he's just put everybody in the best possible situation for success. And when you do that, have a guy like that at the helm, and it makes you you're gonna go hard anyway because it's your job and your livelihood. But when a guy's like putting you in those type of situations, to knowing that you're in the best possible situation to succeed, it's pretty sweet. And yeah, I'm sure he's definitely getting a lot of buzz with the head coaching stuff, but I enjoy Mike here. I don't really care about all the other stuff. So I'm enjoying him right now. I'm in the moment with him right now, and I know he is as well. And he's not worried about all the other stuff, because at the end of the day, regardless, everything will be a lot sweeter after one of them big ones is on our finger.
No doubt. We'll see if that phone's ringing for him, though, during the bye week. You know how it goes in the NFL, man. We'll see. We will see. But we really want to hear about the launching of the Roquan Smith Foundation. But before you tell us about that, and we know you're up against the clock here as well, so we want to be respectful of that. Do you want to play against the Steelers?
I'm leaving that up. I'm leaving that up to Harves and whatever he feel is best, and the trainers. Because at the end of the day, we know what we have at stake. So whatever they feel is best for me, I'm gonna be there regardless. And how I look at any situation, chin up, chest out, and whatever Harves, the head man, wants, and I'm just falling in line, because at the end of the day, I'm just an employee.
Who's clocking
pretty
in,
important
baby.
employee,
Yeah.
pretty critical employee.
Fair enough, bro. What you got going on with the foundation?
The Roquan Smith Foundation. I started it earlier this year, and it's just I'm more of a guy, just try to help at-risk kids, whether that's kids at risk with inner cities or whatever the case may be. I kind of like juggle all over the place, whether that's dealing with homeless, at-risk kids, single parents, domestic abuse victims. So I just try to touch a lot of different things and I just try to leave the world a better place than I found it. And I'm just trying to do all the good that I can while I'm able to, and that I'm fortunate enough to be able to just give back and do so many great things for the community, because I always pride myself on truly being a good person at the end of the day and just trying to help every single person that I can in this world, because I know if I was in a different position, that would be a great help for me as well. And I just know how it is for kids, especially growing up in different environments than others, and maybe have a tougher end of the stick than others. And I've seen it. So I just try to be the best I can be, and just try to help all those that I can and need, and leave the world better than I found it.
Awesome, man. Congratulations on everything you have going. We're going to be rooting for you, not only to make a run to Vegas, but you're going to be there regardless because of your nomination for this year's Walter Payton Man of the Year award. So we're rooting for you. Congratulations on everything that's already happened and everything that's still to come.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it, Ro.
Look, I know all 32 honorees are obviously worthy when it comes to the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, but gosh, in our minds, in our biased minds, none more than what he's able to do in such a short amount of time here in town. I can't wait to see what that foundation becomes, because anything he typically touches, Sarah, turns to gold. So can't wait. And we're going to be there, of course, following it and covering it, because just as much as his on-field play deserves that kind of coverage, what he does off the field certainly is equivalent, if not more so.
I've just so enjoyed the 9th episode. The one more we got afterwards. I just feel like we've gotten to know him so well, and he's just he wants to be a good guy. It's like what he said. I want to leave the world better than how I received it. You know what I mean? So, he just is. He's just a good guy, and he's so good at being personable. I mean, talking about how he loves being in Baltimore, doesn't have, says, and he's enjoyed getting to know us. I'm like, all right, way to butter us up. I love it. It's like, I enjoy meeting you, he's just he wants to be great at everything he does. It's not, of course it's the football, but he takes it into everything else. And so, and Bobby, I really enjoyed him letting us in on his conversation with Lamar. That probably was my favorite part, where he's just talking about, I mean, they're the leaders of each side. They're both more veterans, right? And and this is what's great, is they both just signed contracts with the Ravens. EDC's been on fire, right? Within months of each other, he signs the two faces of the franchise for both the defense and the offense. And just the way he talks about how, they've got it locked in. I just love how they're carrying this team on both sides of the ball. Just love that conversation between the two of them.
Yeah, no, as soon as I saw that happen, to your point during the show, during the interview, it doesn't happen that often. Like, there aren't a lot of photos of them together. When you're in content gathering, you kind of know this stuff. There's not, because they're on different sides of the ball. And let's face it, Ro hasn't been here as long as Lamar either. So that's just a sample size type thing. But they are the undisputed faces of this franchise. And it's just been so incredibly fun to watch the way that the team goes as they go. So I thought he was really insightful there. Love a good film study breakdown with him. And what a great week to have it, being that he snagged that one-handed. It was like the day of one-handed catches. Isaiah's was absurd. Roquan's was awesome.
Sort of Ricard.
Ricard had to go over the shoulder. That was kind of nasty. That was awesome. I commented on he put up a bunch of photos on Instagram. He's hilarious. And I was just like, way to haul that in, man. You got a great pair of hands. But,
and I love the cocoa butter story that he had missed it in practice.
That was like, so funny.
I've got the gloves here.
I can't wait to clip that for Twitter, because that's really good. He's not on Twitter, and so he hadn't even seen Kyle's tweet about him, Kyle Van Noy, which I think just speaks to what Roquan's about too. Like, he didn't have time for any of this, any nonsense. He is all business. He is as focused as you can be in professional sports, And I don't know, sometimes when it's there for the taking, it's so easy to consume, right? It's so
Mm.
easy to pull up that app after a bad game, pull up that app. I know Rashad Bateman has done that in recent years, and it's not where you want to be. It's great to see where Rashad is now. He's coming alive at the right time. But anyway, yeah, another good one from Ro. What else was a
I was just gonna say,
takeaway?
I
Mike
liked his
McDonald.
answer on, I liked his answer on Mike McDonald. First of all, he gave him huge props, but I also liked his answer of him going, being in the head coaching circles, because he basically is saying we're trying to live in the moment, and that is what Lamar's doing too. It's just like you gotta black out the noise, and we're the noise too, right? Like that's what we do. We're just yapping here, right? Like
we're lucky to be with him.
Noise. Yeah. And so it's just can't think about that. There's too much at stake right now. And so it goes along with them saying we're 0-1 for the week. We want to be, or 1-0 for the week. We want to be 1-0 for the week, 1-0. And it's just we're not going to worry about that with Mike. Right now, we're living in this moment. He's our defensive coordinator. This is what we're doing. And then if that time comes, we'll worry about that then. It's just complete laser focus from everybody on this team.
Unwavering. This is brought to you by our friends at Cybertech, and as you know, they are a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. A new way to acquire resources is what they're all about. And so whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and you don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you think you might be a good fit, you'll have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started right now by scanning the QR code that we have in the upper right-hand corner of this screen. If you're in the audio-only space, consider sending an email to get started to the address that we have included in the show notes below. And we wanted to say thank you and shout out to two of our returning patrons who are supporting everything we're building here this month inside the channel through Patreon this month. So Mark Wilson, Christian Almgren, thank you both for believing in what we're building. And if you guys are interested in doing the same, visit the show notes or just patreon.com/RavensVault podcast to check out and see how you can get involved. It all goes towards the betterment of our channel. So, busy week on tap. Roquan down. One more to go with him next week. Still trying to get something scheduled with Ray Lewis, which will be really exciting. And then Bobby Petrino coming up on Wednesday on my side of things on the channel, which I'm sure we'll do a segment on. It was Lamar's former coach at Louisville. I think he'll offer a really unique perspective because he was a believer when a lot of people weren't, Sarah, coming out of high school, coming out of South Florida. So looking forward to that conversation. By the way,
Bobby, I got educated on Twitter when I said Louisville on Up and Adams, and some homegrown people were like, well, they were disagreeing on how to say it, so they never got back to me. One person said it's Louisville, another one said Louisville, I think. So anyway, I said it like I don't know. I grew up in Colorado, like a Coloradan. I don't know, Louisville, so Louisville.
So when I was with the radio team, I was pretty much humbled within the first couple weeks because unbeknownst to me at the time, they streamed our postgame show down in Kentucky. It was it was somehow streamed down there on their local radio affiliates. And I had the same thing. I was going Louis.
Yeah.
It's not. So yeah.
Did
I say it? Did I say it there?
I feel like you said, hey, is this happening that I'm actually, I think I heard you say Louisville. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So Louisville.
5 years later and I can't get it down. All good. All right. Again, shout out to Cybertech for all of the support and the investment in us this year. Belief is a huge reason as to why we were able to secure this awesome partnership with Roquan, awesome partnership with our friends at Cybertech. Go show them support if you think you'll be a good fit. All right, partner, closing it down. Awesome. As always, if you guys enjoyed this one like we did, please consider subscribing to the Vault here on YouTube. Going to check us out in the audio-only space if you haven't already, and liking this video and turning on that notification bell So when our daily content drops every single day, you will be notified. So for my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett, signing off. We will catch you on Wednesday's Morning Ball. Coming up.